Join us for a journey on the Oslo to Gjøvik line from the locomotive driver's seat. In 2022, while the northern section of the line was still operated the old way, with station dispatchers transmitting train orders and physically light signals still in use. In the first part, we traveled from Oslo to Gran. Now, in this second part, we jump back and begin our journey at Gran. Gran Station is typical of the National Romantic style stations along the Gjøvik line. It was designed by Paul Due and built by Strømmen Trevarefabrikk for the railway's opening between 1900 and 1902. Here we see Gran Station in 1918. Our train from Oslo is ready to depart and we continue north from Gran. The next station is Jaren. We have received a proceed at reduced speed signal at the home signal, and the distance signal indicates stop at the departure signal. Here we meet a train coming from Jaren to Oslo. The Oslo-bound train has received its authority to proceed from the station dispatcher and begins its journey toward Gran. The signal is given by the dispatcher, displaying a round white disc with a green ring toward the train. We have received our authority to proceed by telephone due to the track layout of Yard Station. Jaren had a locomotive shed and a turntable for steam locomotives, and was also the junction for the now closed branch line to Raufoss. We see a green light in the departure signal. Proceed at reduced speed. A small section of the Raufoss line is still used today for storing trains. We see the track branching off to the left. The line climbs at a 2% grade, which was fair in earlier days. It was known as Kubakkene, named after the former Kutjern station located at the top of the grade. Our next stop is Bleiken, today an unmanned halt. We then passed the former Kutjern station and have now reached the top of the climb. We arrive at Eina station and receive a clear signal at the home signal, while the distance signal indicates stop at the departure signal. From the left we see the track from the now closed Valdres Line joining in. To the left stands the locomotive shed. We are going to meet a train from Gjøvik here and see the station dispatcher on the platform. From the locomotive shed we can see the turntable. In the days of steam locomotives there was a water tower to the left and a coal shed to the right of the track. At Eina, dwarf signals are also in use. We see the stop indication and proceed with caution indication. In the background we see the departure signal for the now closed Valdres Line. Later, as we pass such a signal displaying two vertical lights, it indicates proceed. Switching operations are carried out with locomotives of type 24 and 31. The so-called Big Germans, type 63, former German war locomotives, were often used in the freight trains between Gjøvik and Oslo. Diesel locomotives of type DY3 were used on trains along the Valdres Line between Eina and Fagernes. The evening train from Fagernes sometimes used switching locomotives of type DI2. The train we are crossing with at Eina arrives from the north and receives proceed at reduced speed at the home signal and stop at the departure signal. We then receive authority to proceed from the dispatcher and continue north. The Oslo-bound train received its authority to proceed as well. We clearly see the dwarf signal displaying proceed. And to the left, the departure signal shows a green light. Proceed at reduced speed. The departure signal to the right serves the closed Valdres Line. We see the Valdres Line branching off to the right. Our next stop northbound is Reinsvoll. Here baggage and freight are handled in the 1950s. From Reinsvoll, the now closed branch line to Skreia once operated. In this photo from 1980, we see the Skreia line branching off the track to the left toward Oslo. Reinsvoll had considerable timber traffic. The next station is Raufoss, today only an unmanned halt. There was timber traffic here as well, along with significant freight shipments to the ammunition factory. After Raufoss came Nygard Station. Rolls of steel wire were shipped here from Spigeverket in Oslo to Mustad factories, where they were made into fish hooks. Toten Cellulose factory had its own siding at Nygard Station. We now arrive at the terminus, Gjøvik, and see the town lying along Lake Mjøsa. We receive a clear signal at the home signal. Gjøvik had a special arrangement with only a home signal and no departure signals. The keys to all sidings were kept in a central lock in the small hut by the bridge. From here there was also a siding to Hunton factories with produced Huntonite boards. We see the station dispatcher on the platform. Gjøvik has a stately station building dating from the railway's opening in 1902. Previously the approach looked different, with tracks leading to the freight house, locomotive shed and switching yard toward the harbour. Older train sets at Gjøvik station in the 1970s. The red conductor's car is a former German coach, a so-called Donnerbysse, named for the thunderous noise they made while running. These were also used on the Skreia line before being converted into conductor cars. We conclude with a visit to the locomotive shed, where we see a big German Type 63 and a Type 30B locomotive. The big Germans were turned at Eina and ran in reverse from Eina to Gjøvik, since the turntable at Gjøvik station was not large enough for them. They preferably ran forward on the uphill grades from Gjøvik. We have reached the end of the line, and thank you for joining us.